This is Valerie Silvera, and first I want to congratulate you for even turning on a video about adversity, especially one where I'm suggesting that you stop hating your adversity. You probably don't even know what I'm talking about. Seriously, who wants adversity? Wouldn't we all like to have life just be smooth sailing, right? A bed of roses? Of course. But the fact is that the stories that move us, those that help us believe that we can overcome anything, they're always people who've overcome adversity. They are the ones that give us hope. They all have one thing in common, all these stories, right? They're people who found the courage. They dug down deep. They took a leap of faith. They took a stand. They overcame adversity, or they faced it, or both. Think about the people, the famous people that you know, and then maybe I'll tell you about one or two you don't know. How about Helen Keller? Who doesn't know about Helen Keller? Born blind and deaf. How does a blind and deaf person learn how to read, how to communicate? How does someone communicate with them? That right there is incredible. Just that people are able to do that. Wow, talk about overcoming adversity. But Helen Keller went on to be so much more. What an inspirational person. There's so many wonderful quotes, perspectives, things that Helen Keller said. She became a leader. And it was a day and age where there weren't that many women leaders, and certainly not one like her. How about Rosa Parks? This was in the days of segregation, and she said, "No, I don't think so. I'm not sitting in the back of that bus anymore. I'll sit right here in the front." Very quietly, she did just that and sparked a revolution. I mean, she really did. There were people that were so inspired by what she did. She's still talked about today and probably will be forever. What kind of courage did it take for her to do that? Unreal. Here's one you might not know of. Rob Mendez. He was born with no arms and no legs. How in the world do you overcome something like that? Just to overcome victimhood. I mean, that is an absolutely incredible story that he would even have a positive attitude in any way, shape, or form. But get this, he went on to become a successful high school football coach, somebody who'd never picked up a football. He dug down deep. He overcame. He could have easily just laid there and let his life pass him by, stuck as a victim. Who would blame him? God bless you, Rob Mendez, for not doing that, for inspiring all of these school-age kids, these boys, and their communities and their families. He went on to win an ESPN Jimmy V Award for inspiration. He has literally inspired thousands of people. And here's what's interesting and important to know. These people don't have my story, not even close, right? Not even in the same stratosphere, but I'm inspired by them. We are inspired by people who have stories of overcoming no matter what they are. They do not have to have anything to do with your challenge. A young girl, Malala Yousafzai, I think that's how you pronounce her name. She was a girl living within Taliban rule and terror. Her father was one of the last, he was the leader of one of the last schools to defy the Taliban order to not educate females. Unbelievable, isn't it? Let's not educate females. Let's just keep them suppressed and oppressed. Her father obviously was courageous, and that gave her the courage. As an 11-year-old girl, she wrote an anonymous blog about her experiences for the BBC. Then, when fighters were sweeping through her village, she spoke out. She wanted to become a doctor, right? This is under oppressive rule of no women can be educated. And she spoke out about women's rights and wanted to become a doctor. She was 11 years old. Think about how much more we've lived through and how much more courageous we should be than an 11-year-old girl. And we're not facing those types of situations. You have it within you. Unfortunately, the Taliban singled her out when she was 14 years old on a school bus and executed her. And were very publicly proud of what they did. So unfortunately, her story didn't end well, but it is still having an impact. That is the kind of impact we all can have. I'm not suggesting that you run into danger, but find something that moves you. Let your adversity be jet fuel. Let it be what propels you toward your destiny. Don't stay stuck in it and say, oh my gosh, this is just this awful thing that happened to me, and this is it, and there's no more, and I know what that feels like. I was a firm believer, after riding my roller coaster from hell for 13 years, that my best days were behind me, that all my good stories were in the past. I mean, talking about the not distant past. I'm talking about the long-term past. I didn't see anything good in my future. How could anything good come from what was happening in my life? Trauma is real, my friend, but it doesn't have to own you. You can heal. You must heal. Use your adversity as building blocks, as stepping stones, right? It's up to you. It's totally up to you. You can stay down. You can believe the lies of the beast, that you're a terrible person, that you're a terrible mother, that you're a failure because you had a divorce, you're a bad person because your son or daughter is in addiction, it's your fault that somebody abused you. You can continue to believe the lies, that you don't have value, that you don't have a purpose, that you don't have a destiny, and you don't have a legacy. Or you can refuse those lies, and you can start using your adversity. Everything can be used for good. What's happened to me is terrible, but I'm using it for good. We dig down deep and find our strength and courage in the dark places. That's when we're sometimes forced to, or we choose to just figure out what we're really made of and develop even more of it. We find more courage. We find more faith. We find more character. We become brave. It happens in the tough times. So if that's you and you're in the dark, it's okay. This is what happened to the people I talked to you about. You probably know people in your own life or stories you've read who faced adversity. And it was in the tough times that they said, that's it. I'm going to stand up and fight. And that should be you. So I really wanted to have a message that was embrace your adversity, but I figured you weren't quite ready for that one. You might not even turn on the video. But can we just start with this? Stop hating it. It is here to serve you. Stop hating your adversity. Use it. Use it as jet fuel to propel you into your destiny, because the world is waiting for you. Visit me at valeriesilvera.com and check out my blog, sign up for my newsletter, join the Trauma Disruptors, and check out my 9 Weapons of Hope. Remember that whatever you're going through, you're not alone. I'm standing right there with you, and I'm here to link arms with you and help you disrupt your trauma for good.